Hello my dear students, in this video I will teach you how we can perform certain select queries. So let's start practicing. These are the questions I have written over here. So these things I'm going to show, such as how to display all records of a table, or how to display some tables, how to display certain columns from a table, or how to display data based on some given conditions. So let us check what is the syntax to do that. Firstly, so in order to display all the records, we will always be writing select. After that, put the asterisk symbol. So you can say like select all, or you can call it as select star or select asterisk. So whichever you are comfortable in, you can say that. There's no hard and soul rule for that, rule for calling it. So normally we call it as select all or select star from the table name. Cool. After that, if you have to display selected columns, then instead of this symbol, just write the column names over there, because the asterisk will always print all the columns for any particular record, or let's say from the entire table. But if you replace this symbol with the column names, then only the particular columns will be displayed. After that, if you want to display based on certain condition, like let's say you want to print the data about students who read in certain class, or maybe who belong to certain stream, then after writing the table name, you have to put the condition. We can also display queries by joining multiple conditions. Let's say you want to see the record of students who are studying in class 11 and studying in science stream. So maybe that's the condition. So two conditions we want to join. Or we can also use the or clause, where instead of displaying like satisfying both the conditions, either of the two condition can be satisfied. So maybe like display students who are either studying in class 11, or maybe who are studying in class 10th. So both of the condition needs not to be true in case of or, either of the two can be true. Now let's see it in the SQL window. So this is my student details table, and the first thing that I will show is how to display all records from this table. So for that we need to write like this. Okay. So if I press enter, you can see that's the record of my table. See, select star from student details. So student ID, name, date of birth, marks, percentage, and course ID. So all the columns and all the records are shown. Now the second thing which I will show is if you have to display only selected columns. Let's say you just want to see the name and the marks of students, okay? Or let's say you want to see the name and course ID. So whichever you want to see, just instead of this asterisk, you have to put the column names. So let's say name, comma, course ID, okay, from student details. If I press enter, you can see the difference between the two. So now it displays only the names and the course IDs of those students, okay? So whichever column you'll be putting over here, that will be displayed. If you want to omit course ID from here, and let's say you want to display the marks of the students, so only those two columns gets displayed. Even if you want to select and display any one single column, you can do that. You can simply write select name from student details, so only the names will be printed, or let's say select marks from students, so only the marks will be printed. Moving to the next one, where we will be using the where condition. So at first I'll start with this one, where all the records will be printed. Let's say select star from student details, where course ID equals to C01. So that is the condition I have given. So only the records of those students whose course ID is C01 is getting printed. Now you can see, since asterisk symbol is given here, all the records of all the columns are getting printed for this particular criteria. Now, if I replace this asterisk over here with column names, what will happen? Let's say we want to see only the names and date of birth of students whose course ID is C01. So obviously now I need to write the column names. So it's like name and date of birth. That's it. You can see the difference between how both the queries are actually executing, right? Now, the next which I mentioned in the slide was that how we can display using multiple conditions. So now let's say changing the query, and I would like to see the marks of students as well. Like let's say students who has scored greater than 90 as well as their course ID is C01. Okay, so now you can see that we have only one student who has scored greater than 90 as well as whose course ID is this. Now what if I replace this and with or over here? So it means we need to see data of students either whose course ID is C01 or who has scored greater than 90. Now you can see we get so many students over here because see, either you compare their marks like see 94, 91, although their course ID is different. So please understand, this is the use of or clause comparing to and clause. Whereas in and clause, both the condition needs to be true, but in or clause, either of the two condition must be true. Then we can see the output. Right? Now, instead of asterisk, if you put this clause and just put like the name and marks and course over here so that we can see only the name, marks and course IDs. So that's how we have to write it. Press enter, and now it's more simplified because we can only check out the, or let's say we can only focus on the marks, course IDs and the names of the students. So that's it for this video. Now in the next video, I will show more examples of SQL queries. So keep watching.